For today's morning, we will tackle about the communicative approach. So, what is the communicative approach? So, we will find out what is communicative approach. So, the communicative approach is based on the idea that learning language successfully comes through having a communicate. Through having to communicate, ayun na ako na pagkat na. Through having to communicate well-work meaning. So, which means that this approach will be learned by the children or by the learner for the real settings. Just like, for instance, if you are a teacher and you are giving them an example or a story, and then you are going to ask them their reflection about the story, that is the communicative approach happen. Understand? Yes.
So now let's talk about the four competence approach. So first is linguistic competence. It refers to the unconscious knowledge of grammar that allows the speaker to use and understand the language, also known as grammatical competence or language. Contrast linguistic performance as used by Ma'am Chomsky and other linguists. Linguistic competence is not an equivalent term. So, linguistic competence deals with grammar, although it involves vocabulary, spelling, punctuation, and pronunciation. So, meaning, and also students govern. We also know the rules of how to govern a sentence structure, word sentence, and tenses, and some interaction, word at first, meaning, and collocation. So, kita as a future educator, kita ang sa estudyante kung unsa ang correct spelling, grammar, and pronunciation, or ang correct na punctuation kung asa dapat na ibutang kay para makakonstruct ang learners of grammatically correct sentences. Next.
And also, addition to linguistic competence, it is refers to the unconscious knowledge. So when we say unconscious, it is inborn or it is innate. So, di ba, kung conscious knowledge, it is the act of being aware or having an awareness about something. And the real linguistic competence, it is the unconscious knowledge. And that is why it is not evaluative term. Because it was supported by Noam Chomsky. If you still remember who is Noam Chomsky, he is the philosopher who always believed that language is innate. So when you say innate, it was during a child or as a human by nature, we have innate language, which means that we born with our own language.
Next is social linguistic competence. Defined horizontally as knowing and understanding how to speak given the circumstances you are in such as the status of participants, the purpose of interaction, and the norms of conventions of interaction. Some social linguistic is how we interpret, or how to use the language in the specific social situation. And social linguistic competence is the awareness of cultural backgrounds, experience, and knowledge. So, kung mag-discuss ka or naaka sa public speech, dapat ang imong topic is suit sa imong mga listener. Dapat dili ka magkuan na kasi dahil makasakit na sa ila, dapat ka tibuka o kung sa unang pag-deliver ang iyong istorya na parang nasaktal ka o hindi ka makasakit. Next is discourse competence. So it means knowing how to interpret the context and how to construct longer stretches of language so that the parts make up a coherent whole. Discourse competence as how our words, phrases, and sentences put together to create conventions, speeches, emails, messages, and newspapers articles. So sa discourse competencies, how you interpret sa the larger context. So, dili ako ng ining diba ang ikaw na discuss ka. So, hindi lang ako focus sa kanaan kanilang direct to the point ang iyong pag-explain sa ila. Dapat imo pa mo hatag pa kag mga supporting ideas or mga example na connected sa iyong topic para masabot ka sa mga bata. And next,
Okay, to sum up some clarification also, this course competence, it is how to construct a word into a long or to make it a coherent whole. So when we say that coherent whole is kabuuan and then we found out that this course competence in creating the speech, emails, newspaper articles, and also the messages. Understood?
yes. So the last one is strategic competence. It performs assessment, planning, and execution function in determining the most effective means of achieving communicative or language goal. It connects authority, procedural, and educational knowledge. So actually, it's sa strategic is it's the ability to overcome the need communication or so ibali ikaw discuss ka kaya nakalimutan ka sa specific na word for example nakalimutan ka sa school so ibali instead of stopping while you are discussing mag-construct na lang ka with sentences na makadiscard sa word na school para masabtan sa estudyante ang imong kasagot para sa diretso-diretso ang imong discuss. So, communicative approach principles and learners learn using it to communicate. So, diba, makalearn din ang bata sa pag-communicate kay gusto naman pagkatibo sa bata kung wala yung communication sa classroom ba or sa pamilyabisan sa pagtulo nato sa basa, di ba may mo na ipakuan sa kanila to pag-sila sa para masabtan nila. So next is authentic and meaningful communication technique, the whole of classroom activities. So dapat kayo identify sa mga role-playing scenarios o mga debates like magamit kay para kay na makuha na sa bata na sa mga ilang opinions. So next is fluency is an important dimension of communication. So fluency is important in communication text. Diba, kaya mo ang bata, one point, naging sila sa pagbasa. So, hindi na sila mag-lisod sa mga pagbasa sa mga difficult na words o dali na niya ma-comprehend at complex na mga topic. So, and communication involves the integration of different communication.
Also, it is a communication involves the integration of different language skills. So, different language skills is also categorized into four, such as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So, in learning to communicative or in learning how to communicate, it should be you're going to integrate these four different language skills for you to learn more. And also, learning is the process of creating construction and also involves trial and errors. Diba, have you observed that when we learn something, we face mistakes, we face trials and errors. But doesn't mean you are failed or you become failed in that particular phase. But it means that it gives an opportunity for you to learn more, to grow. That's why it always have the opportunity in your mistakes that failing is different from failure. Why is that so? Because failing is doing something wrong or doing a mistake and then you have a chance to make it right. However, the failure is that you never do an action or you never change the mistake that you failed of. So then remember the difference between the feeling and the failure. Understood?
Yes, ma'am. Understandable. Skill because occurs a facilitator and advisor. First, listen a communicative task is as the learners carry out the task they offer advice and encouragement, can also be a communicator in the class. So, di ba, nandito na may teacher, buka na para sa una na scripted ka ng pagkuhan. Karoon na lang po mo facilitate na lamang sila, na mag-extract na lamang sila sa ato mga kung sa himoon para
Yes, and teacher's role, so CTL, which means stand for contextualized learning teaching. So, the teacher, we all know that in accordance to Magna Carta Article 3, Section 1, that the teacher is a facilitator of knowledge. So, in this way, it will prove that the teacher as a facilitator and also the advisor says, our curriculum nowadays is outcome-based education, so that's why the teacher role or your role as a teacher is it helps them to encourage to learn more or to go to the class para makalearn sila more and then, yes, motivation. That's it. And also, if the teacher has a role, and also it will, now for the learner have to participate in the classroom activity. So it should be that as a learner, it is your responsibility to participate all the tasks that's given by your teacher. And then becoming more comfortable with listening with peers or in group work or pair work tasks rather than depending or relying for the teacher. So it should be we promote inclusive education or in the classroom we promote inclusion that it should be have a collaborative and a participative bitaw siya sa anak as a classmate or as a whole. Nag-guess ninyo. Sorry for my voice. Siguro po, hindi share.
okay naman, wapas yapon.
Now let's move on to in practical terms, what does that mean? So we need to concentrate on the following: the teacher and student activities, and also materials. Now we will find out what is the student-teacher relationship. So in your own idea, why there is a need to have the student-teacher relationship? Yes, by Jean? In your own idea, why there is a need to have a teacher-student relationship?
Imagine na, pag-ito, kanya ako ng teacher. Dapat ako taling. What is that?
Why there is a need to have the student and teacher relationship inside a classroom?
Of course, ma'am, because teachers and students have this should be has this interactive way of learning. Like, hindi naman teacher ang nag-benefit sa mga estudyante, but also students are also getting benefits from the teacher. So, hindi lang estudyante ang nag-learn sa teacher, but also the teacher. Yes, the teacher.
Yes, as you know, so there is a need to have a student and teacher relationship for the purpose that to have a positive relationship between the teacher and the student. And also, you as a teacher, it is your responsibility to take action or to gain the trust of your student. Because, diba, the learner cannot even learn or motivated to come to school if you as a teacher, di ka encourage to your learners. Diba? That's why the importance of being a teacher, the model of being a teacher is that you have to learn or you don't have to teach them, but also teach them how to be grateful and also teach them how to be motivated and learning every day. So, in communication will be divided into two categories, such as input or receptive and output or productive. So, in input, rather, it will include the reading and the learning, listening. Then output is the speaking and the writing. In this communicative approach is that the teacher or the student is the focus, not on the teacher. And also the interaction should usually be the student to student and should include the teacher only where necessary. So, diba, it should be student to student or your peer. This is a communicative approach. Structuralism versus behaviorism. So under this theory of structuralism, psychologists mainly use introspection to describe mental life. So when we say structuralism, it will describe the mental life of a person. However, the behaviorism, it will be the behavior of